I think all of you are going to be very surprised in the very near future. They've already eaten through about 800 million XRP, but like you go back to look for it and it's not registered. This $91 registered.
Hey, crypto family, welcome back. It's so good to see you again. I'm absolutely thrilled to dive into what's happening with XRP today, and I genuinely hope you're having an amazing day no matter where you're tuning in from around the world. Let's jump right into the action. Right now, XRP is sitting pretty at around $2.20, and here's what I'm seeing on this daily chart that's got me really excited. Yes, we're in a ranging pattern, but check this out. We're actually setting higher lows. Can you see that beautiful pattern forming? This is exactly what we want to see during consolidation. Now here's something really interesting. XRP is basically mirror imaging Bitcoin's movements right now. And guess what? Bitcoin is holding strong above that crucial 87K level, which is fantastic news for the entire crypto space. I'm seeing so many people in the community getting excited saying, the bottom is definitely in. And honestly, the technicals are looking pretty solid for that theory. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we're about to see some serious upward momentum from here. But here's the thing that happened earlier today. XRP was absolutely crushing it at $2.25, and everyone was celebrating like, we're so back, baby! But then, just like clockwork, it dipped along with Bitcoin, and suddenly the mood shifted to doom and gloom again. Listen, this is exactly why patience is your superpower in this game. We're simply ranging right now, and when you zoom out to the weekly chart, you can see this is all part of the bigger picture. Don't let these short-term movements shake your conviction. Look at this chart. Can you see that beautiful bottom formation right there? It's like the market just found its footing and is getting ready to absolutely rocket into the next major leg up. This is textbook technical analysis unfolding right before our eyes. But here's what's absolutely mind-blowing. The Crypto Fear and Greed Index is still sitting at just 15. Think about that for a second. Most people out there are still completely terrified about where this market is heading. They're paralyzed by fear, while we're sitting here looking at these incredible setups. And you know what? This is exactly why 2025 is going to be remembered as the pivotal year in crypto history. Mark my words, people are going to be talking about 2025 for decades to come, because this is the year everything changed. This is when we witnessed the massive transition from retail-dominated markets to institutional powerhouses taking control. Here's the fascinating part that most people are completely missing. While everyday retail investors are panic selling and running for the exits every single day, guess who's quietly accumulating behind the scenes? The big institutions. They're methodically buying up XRP, Bitcoin, and other quality assets while retail is giving them the best prices they could ever ask for. It's like watching the greatest wealth transfer in modern history happen in real time, and most people don't even realize what they're witnessing. It's absolutely wild to witness this happening right now. People who've been grinding through this crypto journey for a full decade are literally saying, I'm done, and walking away every single day. Can you imagine? 10 years of ups and downs, and they're calling it quits right when things are getting really interesting. And here's what's fascinating about who's actually bailing out. We're talking about hardcore Bitcoin veterans, people who've been diamond-handing their Bitcoin through multiple bear markets, through every crash and pump you can think of. These aren't newbies getting scared by their first dip. But now they're looking around and saying, wait a minute, this isn't the Bitcoin revolution we signed up for. They're watching the government stick their fingers into everything, seeing these massive Wall Street institutions march in and basically take over, and they're completely disgusted by it. These people fell in love with the Wild West era of crypto, when it felt like we were all part of this underground movement that was going to change the world. Now they're watching that rebellious spirit get buried under suits and regulations. And honestly, I get why they're heartbroken. So what happens next? They're rage-selling their Bitcoin after holding it for years. But here's the kicker. The second they hit that sell button, guess who's waiting there like vultures? The institutions. They're practically fighting each other to scoop up every single Bitcoin that retail is dumping. And here's where it gets really interesting for us XRP holders. This exact same cycle is about to happen with XRP. Once these ETFs go live, every time a frustrated retail investor throws in the towel and sells their XRP, those ETF managers are going to be there instantly, buying it all up. Retry. Listen, this isn't just about the big whales making moves anymore. We're talking about something completely different here. There's this analyst, pundit, who dropped an absolutely mind-blowing prediction recently. He said the number of people who are going to retire early because of XRP is going to be absolutely insane. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. We are literally on the verge of witnessing one of the biggest wealth creation events in modern history. I'm talking about regular, everyday people becoming millionaires with XRP. People just like you and me who had the vision to see what was coming. But here's what absolutely breaks my heart. Can you imagine being so close to life-changing wealth and then just giving up? Right before the rocket takes off? That's exactly what's happening to countless people right now, and it's tragic to watch. Here's the problem. Way too many people are overinvested to the point where they can't sleep at night. They put in money they couldn't afford to lose, so the moment the market bleeds even a little bit red, they completely panic. Their emotions take over, and they just can't handle the pressure anymore. They hit that sell button and walk away, probably just months or even weeks before everything changes forever. I see this heartbreaking pattern play out every single day in the community. It's like watching someone walk away from a winning lottery ticket. And speaking of pressure, everyone and their brother is telling you to lock in your profits right now. But here's the million-dollar question. How much profit is actually enough? Listen, when you see the absolute giants of the XRP world all saying the same thing, you've got to pay attention. We're talking about Joel Katz and David Schwartz, the brilliant minds who actually created XRP's technology. Then there's LJ, who's been such a trusted voice in our community, Carolyn, who's been fighting for us every step of the way, and Brad Garlinghouse himself, the man leading Ripple. Every single one of these legends has been sending us the same message throughout this entire market cycle. Lock in those profits when you can. They've been saying it over and over again, and trust me, these aren't just casual suggestions. But here's what's absolutely crushing people's souls right now. This cycle is mentally exhausting. Just when everything looks perfect and we're all thinking, this is it! This is our moment! Bitcoin decides to throw a tantrum and crashes down, dragging our beloved XRP and the entire market into the red with it. I can feel the frustration in the community every single day. People are getting worn down by these false starts. It's like watching your favorite team get to the goal line again and again, only to fumble the ball right before scoring. But here's the bottom line. When people with this much knowledge, this much inside information, and this much experience are all telling you the exact same thing about taking profits, that's not just advice. That's a roadmap from people who know exactly what's coming. Check this out. CryptoBasics just dropped some serious wisdom, and Dave Portnoy is absolutely crushing it right now. Dave's sitting there like a boss saying, can you imagine being crazy enough not to buy XRP during that dip? And guess what? His massive $1 million XRP position is now sitting pretty in profit. You know what? I was screaming this from the rooftops when we were having those brutal red days and everyone was panicking. While most people were running around like chickens with their heads cut off, what was Dave doing? He was calmly backing up the truck and loading up on $1 million worth of XRP like it was Black Friday shopping. I kept telling everyone, do what Dave does. Because here's the thing. Most people have it completely backwards. When the market bleeds red, they panic and start thinking the world is ending. But that's exactly when the smart money makes their moves. There's this famous saying on Wall Street, when there's blood in the streets, that's when you buy. And that's exactly what separates the winners from the losers in this game. While everyone else is emotional and scared, you either buy more XRP or you simply do absolutely nothing. But here's the one rule you should never, ever break. You never sell on a red day. That's like selling your umbrella in the middle of a rainstorm. Every single red day eventually turns into a green day. It's just a matter of having the patience and conviction to wait it out. Okay, so he's talking about those absolutely mind-blowing price targets he's been throwing around. We're talking somewhere between $1,000 and $2,500 per XRP. Now, before you think that sounds crazy, here's the fascinating part. It all comes down to one crucial factor. How much XRP is actually available over the counter, or sitting in those mysterious dark pools? If his theory is correct, and there's really only about 1 billion tokens readily available, those tokens are going to disappear faster than concert tickets for your favorite band. And here's the kicker. Even if Ripple unlocks that billion XRP coming on December 1st, and it all goes straight back to the over-the-counter desk, at the current rate we're seeing, that supply would get completely devoured in about a week. And he's absolutely spot on about something else. We've got a ton more ETFs coming down the pipeline that we haven't even factored in yet. So honestly, his wild prediction might not be so wild after all. I'm telling you right now, every single XRP holder is going to be grinning from ear to ear by the time we're opening Christmas presents. When this thing finally breaks loose, it's going to happen lightning fast. Oh, and that crazy Kraken trade everyone thought was a glitch? Yeah, it actually went through. That price might become our daily reality sooner than anyone expects. Speaking of reality checks, Grayscale and Franklin Templeton's brand new XRP ETFs just made their debut on Monday, and the numbers are absolutely insane. Grayscale pulled in $67.4 million, while Franklin Templeton grabbed $62.6 million on day one alone. Combined with all the other XRP ETFs, we're looking at a massive $164 million in total inflows. As long as this money keeps pouring in day after day, we're going to hit price discovery mode at warp speed, and scarcity is going to kick in just as fast. The key is making sure these inflows don't slow down. Now, Wall Street just dropped their XRP price prediction for next year, and you're going to want to hear this.
I think all of you are going to be very surprised in the very near future about what XRP does now that we have the ETFs eating through the OTC desk and the dark pool volume. There's not a whole lot left over there. My guess was there was somewhere between $1 billion and maybe up to $2 billion available on the OTC and dark pools. They've already eaten through about 800 million XRP here in just the first week from that. So that's either half or almost all of what was available on the OTC desk and the dark pools. As soon as that is gone, and we're getting more ETFs, more spot ETFs for XRP are launching, and we still don't have the big dogs at the table yet. We still don't have BlackRock, and we still don't have Vanguard. We still don't have Fidelity. I think they're all coming to the table in the very near future with their spot ETFs for XRP. So that would put, if those three came online, we would have more spot ETFs than Bitcoin. And people are like, well, they're only going to buy off the OTC and dark pools, and we're never going to see price appreciation. Strap in because it's not going to last that much longer. We already saw some price movement today. You're going to see some crazy price movement when there's no more available supply through the OTC desk and the dark pools, and they have to go to the exchanges. We already saw a glimmer of this over there on Kraken last week, where we saw XRP at a high of $91, which registered. There's been lots of high prices in the past on BitTrue and Bitstamp and some of these other ones where people video it. But like you go back to look for it and it's not registered. This $91 registered on Kraken.com. So look out. I think a lot of people are going to be very surprised that a lot of what I've been talking about for the past 18 months is going to come to pass here.
Have you guys noticed this absolutely hilarious pattern that keeps happening? It's like clockwork, and it drives me crazy every single time. Right when we're on the verge of something absolutely massive, I'm talking about XRP potentially shooting to those astronomical, life-changing price levels. What do the so-called experts do? They suddenly shift gears and start talking about next year instead. It's like they're trying to cool down all the excitement and keep everyone's expectations in check. And then, get this, they come out with these ridiculously conservative, almost insulting predictions that make you want to roll your eyes so hard they fall out of your head. So what's Wall Street saying now? Brace yourself for this earth-shattering revelation. They think XRP could climb to somewhere between $3.50 and $4.50 by the end of 2026. Are you kidding me? We're sitting here talking about potential $1,000 XRP, massive institutional adoption, ETFs flooding the market with billions of dollars, and the complete transformation of the global financial system. And their big, bold prediction is that maybe, just maybe, we might see $4 in 2 years? It's like predicting that the sun might come up tomorrow. Technically accurate, but completely missing the bigger picture of what's actually happening right in front of our faces. Seriously though, Are we supposed to believe that XRP is just going to casually hang out around $2 and change for the next 2 years until 2026? Come on, that makes absolutely zero sense when you actually look at what's brewing behind the scenes. Let me paint you the real picture here. Ripple is actively working on securing that banking license. And when that finally gets approved, holy cow, that's going to be like rocket fuel for XRP. We're talking about a massive catalyst that could change everything overnight. And then there's the market structure bill that's been making its way through the system. When that finally gets passed, and I believe it will, that's another game-changing catalyst that's going to send shockwaves through the entire crypto space. But here's what really gets me excited. If these ETF inflows keep pouring in month after month, all the way into 2025 and beyond into 2026, which honestly I think they absolutely will, then Wall Street's cute little prediction of $3.50 to $4.50 is going to look like pocket change. We could be sitting there in 2026 looking back at those predictions and literally laughing because XRP blew past those numbers so fast it made their head spin. When you combine institutional adoption, regulatory clarity, banking integration, and billions of dollars flowing in through ETFs, we're not talking about modest gains anymore. We're talking about a complete transformation of what XRP can achieve. Seriously though, are we supposed to believe that XRP is just going to casually hang out around $2 and change for the next 2 years until 2026? Come on, that makes absolutely zero sense when you actually look at what's brewing behind the scenes. Let me paint you the real picture here. Ripple is actively working on securing that banking license. And when that finally gets approved, holy cow, that's going to be like rocket fuel for XRP. We're talking about a massive catalyst that could change everything overnight. And then there's the market structure bill that's been making its way through the system. When that finally gets passed, and I believe it will, that's another game-changing catalyst that's going to send shockwaves through the entire crypto space. But here's what really gets me excited. If these ETF inflows keep pouring in month after month, all the way into 2025 and beyond into 2026, which honestly I think they absolutely will, then Wall Street's cute little prediction of $3.50 to $4.50 is going to look like pocket change. We could be sitting there in 2026 looking back at those predictions and literally laughing because XRP blew past those numbers so fast it made their head spin. When you combine institutional adoption, regulatory clarity, banking integration, and billions of dollars flowing in through ETFs, we're not talking about modest gains anymore. We're talking about a complete transformation of what XRP can achieve.
And check out this next headline that just made me shake my head. Can XRP bounce back in 2026?
Are you serious right now? They're writing this like XRP is completely dead in the water, and we're not going to see a single bit of price action for the rest of this entire year. It's almost like they're actively trying to scare away any new investors who might be thinking about jumping into XRP in 2025. Like, hey everybody, nothing to see here. Maybe check back in 2 years when something interesting might happen. But you know what? I've been in this game long enough to recognize this pattern, and it's honestly hilarious at this point. Usually when you start seeing these doom and gloom articles flooding the internet, telling everyone to lower their expectations and wait years for anything exciting to happen, that's exactly when the opposite occurs. It's like the market has this twisted sense of humor where it loves to prove all the pessimistic headlines completely wrong. And honestly, I think that's exactly what's about to happen here. I have this gut feeling that we're going to wake up one random morning, check our phones like we always do, and suddenly XRP is going to be sitting at some absolutely mind-blowing price that makes us question if we're still dreaming. When it happens, it's going to happen so fast that all these conservative predictions are going to look ridiculous in hindsight.
Honestly, I'm thinking we could realistically see XRP hitting the high double-digit range, maybe even early in 2026 if everything aligns perfectly. But here's what's really exciting. Throughout 2025, there's still a fantastic chance we could see XRP climb to $20 or even higher by the time we're ringing in the new year. Can you imagine celebrating New Year's Eve with XRP at $20 plus? That would be absolutely incredible. And speaking of incredible, check out this headline that just caught my attention. XRP price looking very bullish after 25% weekly gain. How high can it go?
Now, this is fascinating because it perfectly shows you how the narrative completely flips depending on what XRP is doing. When we're having red days, you get all those pessimistic articles telling people to wait until 2026 and keep their expectations low. But the moment XRP starts flexing with a massive 25% weekly pump, suddenly the same outlets are writing about how bullish everything looks and how people should be jumping in. It's like watching a weather reporter who's terrified of rain one day and then telling everyone to go have a picnic the next day just because the sun came out. The market sentiment whiplash is absolutely wild, but at least now we're getting articles that are actually encouraging people to invest when XRP is showing its true strength. I'm honestly scratching my head over here because this makes absolutely no sense. One minute you've got an article that's doom and gloom, telling everyone XRP is going nowhere fast. Then literally the next day, a completely different article comes out screaming about how bullish everything is and how everyone should be buying. It's like watching financial journalists play ping pong with people's emotions. And you know what the worst part is? This back and forth nonsense is creating massive confusion for new investors who are just trying to figure out if they should get involved or not. These poor people are getting whiplash from all the mixed signals, and honestly, I don't blame them for being completely lost about what to do. But let me cut through all that noise and give you some straight talk. You need to position yourself before the tsunami of institutional money floods into this space. We are still in the early innings with these ETFs. This is like getting tickets to the best show in town before everyone else realizes how amazing it's going to be. I'm telling you right now, and I want you to really hear this, as more and more money keeps pouring into XRP and the price starts climbing higher and higher, you're going to be kicking yourself if you didn't take action at these current price levels. Don't let the media confusion paralyze you into missing out on what could be the opportunity of a lifetime. Now let's be real for a second. Can XRP go lower from here? Absolutely it can. If Bitcoin decides to have another one of its dramatic meltdowns and crashes hard, it's probably going to drag the entire crypto market down with it like it always does. But here's what's absolutely fascinating. Even when Bitcoin took that brutal dive down to around 82K or 83K recently, XRP held up like a champion. Everyone was panicking and predicting XRP would crash below $1.50, but guess what? It didn't even come close to happening. And now, XRP is looking even more bullish moving forward, and here's why. A massive amount of XRP supply is literally vanishing from circulation. These ETFs are locking it up faster than we've ever seen before. Here's the game-changer scenario. When ETF giants like Franklin Templeton run out of over-the-counter supply and have to start hunting for XRP on the public exchanges, you better make sure you're holding onto your bags for dear life. Because the moment that happens, we're going to see prices absolutely explode through the stratosphere. You know what? I think Jake might have been a genius when he called for $1,000 per XRP. Look how fast the price can swing when barely anything significant has happened yet. But when those ETF managers start competing for XRP on the exchanges, that's when the real fireworks begin. I'm telling you right now, we're going to watch so many XRP holders panic sell their entire stash at $20, $30, maybe $40, thinking they've hit the jackpot. But the real legends? The people who hold strong when we start breaking into triple digits and beyond. Those are the ones who are going to achieve true financial freedom. Until that incredible moment arrives, just stay patient, keep that positive energy flowing, and let's build this wealth together. Alright everyone, that's a wrap on today's video. I can't thank you enough for being part of this amazing community. You all are absolutely incredible, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have an amazing night.